Well, good morning to you. Thank you so much for stopping into the channel. We appreciate it. Hello to you, baseball fans. What's happening? We are breaking or continuing the break here on this factory sealed brown box from this photo here on the title card, and we're going to get right into this sealed, you call it a retailer box. And both of these I picked up from Baseball Card Exchange to guarantee the fact that we're getting something legit from the era that's not been tampered with, hasn't been broken into and resealed and then sold as new. So that's a big deal for serious collectors who collect baseball cards and or trading cards of any sport for that matter, especially when these boxes can run into the thousands of dollars. And thankfully, this 1987 set would be considered the biggest problem for the wax junk era because they did so many of them, like 10 million boxes. And so there's a lot of cards floating out there. A lot of them are in really bad condition, and unfortunately, some people take the time to rewrap them and put them back in there and make it look pristine and then sell it on the eBay. So if you really are into something like this is something that is a hobby of yours, or if you're chasing cards or just trying to hopefully find a big card, then technically this comes down to having, I would say you would have to pay the extra premium if you want that security, and that's what I've done. So a green and yellow box such as this could go for anywhere from $40 to $75 to $80 on the secondary market. If you purchase it from Baseball Card Exchange or a secured site or business, you'll pay probably double that amount. And that's kind of what I've done in this point. I picked up a sealed box from 1987, untouched, unopened, and it's guaranteed with a seal. So that seal is, we broke the seal, we're going to bust the box open. Last stream, about 3 days ago, we started this whole process, and that brown box is basically an uncirculated 792 cards, and so it's not a complete set. The 1987 tops was about 792 or 791, I think, for a complete set. So you're not guaranteed to get cards 1 through 792 in the brown box. You're just going to get the amount of cards that would be in the tops set, and hopefully you'll get the cards you're looking for. It's a better chance of finding cards. And the big guys from this era, you're looking at, Bo Jackson, Cal Ripken, Ricky Hernandez, Kirby Puckett, Don Mattingly, big one, Barry Bonds, rookie card, and a couple others too, a few that may not be so known, like Dwight Gooden or maybe even a Will Clark. And so we did pick up a Will Clark last stream from 2 or 3 days ago. So thanks for being here. Let's get into this live break. No time to spare, right? Here's the actual box here. We'll bust into this here as soon as we get done with this brown box. And we got about 80% of the way through. So these uncirculated cards, they're basically, this is the stage before getting wrapped and having that bubble gum stick on it and wrapped in that wax and then packaged in those green and yellow boxes. So if you're a serious collector, these are the boxes to go here, these boxes. So for the most part, if you can get, pardon my hand, if you can get a box untouched and guaranteed sealed from the era that you're looking for, then that's the better bet. So let's take a look. I'm just going to crack these off. You can see that they're set up. Normally they come 17 to a wax pack, and so you can see that these are prepped for that machine to wrap them. We buy the box prior to that happening. Those are offered all the time, and again, you want to go to those specialty sites that guarantee that they are authentic. Like this is the actual tape from 1987, that type of thing. All right, so I'm just going to crack off a stack. It may not be 17, but I'm just going to kind of thumb it, right, eyeball it as I pull from this stack here, and we're going to see what we get, and we're just going to sleeve the big ones, and we'll take a look at what everybody else is looking at. Let's see here. What do we got here? This is 87 tops. And again, we're looking for big names. Don Baylor, possible Hall of Famer. I believe he might be. A Hall of Famer. And if you do see something that I miss, let me know. Let me know what you think. Hey, that's a good card, or that's my favorite player. And, we love to give stuff away here on the channel, so keep that in mind that, you don't have to buy stuff so much. Sometimes you might come across somebody who's willing to give it to you, right? And that's how kind of it works here. That's a big strikeout. And we're just going to keep going. We're going to be pulling this box, and when we're done, we're going to go ahead and probably take a quick break, and then we'll bust open that green and yellow box. All right, so again, big names that we're looking for. Dwight Gooden, Bo Jackson, Barry Bonds, Reggie Jackson, Pete Rose, and these are some, all of the players from this era. And these are beautiful cards. They basically homage the 1966 set of Topps with the beautiful wood border, and these cards are just pristine. I like these uncirculated ones in the sense that they never got wrapped. They never got gum placed on the back, It's not been manhandled by a secondary machine, and here we go. This is for us collectors to kind of see what we get, and there's a lot in here. Like I said, 792 were in the box. Rupert Jones, and I love those action shots at the plate, getting ready to hit that ball. We got leader cards too, and some of these leader cards can very well be worth anywhere from $5 to $10 raw. Most of these cards, a lot of these players, Ozzie Smith All-Star, beautiful card. I'm liking that. And, being uncirculated as they are, you do get, the top of the bill as far as, condition of the card is concerned. So, really, if it's been printed perfectly, you're going to get a 10. This very well, looking at the borders left to right, on this one, very well could be anywhere from a 5 to a 7, more than likely, because of the centering issues, and that's really what kind of holds the card itself, and the value is really how centered that is, left to right, top to bottom, and then again the condition of the card. So let me just take a look at that. Roger Clemens, beautiful player card, Boston Red Sox, Hall of Famer all the way with the Doyle Anderson. Yeah, that's a 2 hits right there. Man on first and second for our virtual dugout that we're putting together, and we're keeping all of the big names. And again, these cards can run anywhere from 50 cents to $3 to $10 and up. Even some of the raw cards, or even let's say the error cards, Don Madden, the All-Star error card, can sell raw for $40 to $50 to $80, depending on the seller. Again, these are only worth what people are willing to pay for them. So keep that in mind. What's going on, Moloch? 87 Topps baseball, my man. Yeah, we're just finishing off this brown box that we started from the last stream about 3 days ago. So we're looking for the big ones. Steve Sax All-Star card, fantastic. Dodgers fan. We're definitely going to sleeve this guy. Jody Davis, Tom Seaver, another big name. Action Pose. Absolutely, I'm going to put a hold on that one. Moose Haas. Lee. Let's take a look here. And beautiful pictures, too. All of these cards seem to be in really fantastic condition. Ken Griffey, beautiful card right there. Let's sleeve that up. And I like to give stuff away too, so stick around. Yeah, Ken Griffey, let's go. Big hit. Got some Tom Seaver action if you're down with the pitching crowd, right? So Tom Seaver, Ken Griffey, and I like that Steve Sax All-Star. You get a lot of people that just collect just the All-Star cards. So even pulling out no names, they're all names, right? They're an All-Star. And then we do have, there are some players like error cards where they put them as an All-Star when in fact they weren't. So those are cards I'm looking for as well. Like a Nurbano or a Joe Necro. Those guys, little-known hitters back in the day in 86, 87 season. But they've got misprinted cards that can go for a couple $100 on the eBay. Again, beautiful. Tom Seaver, Ken Griffey, love it. Let's grab another pack. We're working through this factory-sealed set. which is not a guaranteed set, but they're basically uncirculated in the sense that they never got wrapped in wax and never put on the shelves. So Jim Rice, All-Star card, beautiful. Mookie Wilson with the Mets, very nice. We're pulling out big names, everybody. Cal Ripken, ball player, that is a home run, everybody. Fantastic, beautiful card. Wow, look at that. Bright spring day. Guarantee that's when that photo was taken. That is spring training for sure. Beautiful. I'm just taking a look at the bordering on this one. You know, not everything is a 10. You can see that right border is thin compared to the left side of that border. More than likely, this would be sitting probably about a 6 or a 7 if you sent it down to PSA. And this card could probably sell for $1. And so what you would do is you would take these 87 cards, you can sell them in lots. Pull all the big cards out, and that's what we're doing. We're pulling all the big names out. You can group them. Mike Maddox, Rick Anderson, Tim. Okay, so we've got a few hits out of that 17 pack. And what you can do is you can group them together, sell them, it's 87 All-Stars, 87 leaders, 87 big names. All the rookies from this year can be sold as a lot. And if you're looking to make your money back, definitely you might just do that, especially if you get some really perfect cards and you take the time to grade them. Because really, the graded cards are going to, that's where you're going to make your money back. And then again, if you're a collector and you're just looking for that card to finish a set, let's say, then there's no harm in that, right? People will buy cards just to complete their set. There are completionists out there, and they don't care about the no-names, but they want that complete set, and some of them will pay absolute top dollar. But, with modern-day cards, anything like 2015 and beyond, very, very marginal between big name players and rookies. And so it's really nice to go back into the eras that you've been in already, find an unopened box, check it out. You might find, if you're in basketball, you might find a Jordan. You can get a Kobe rookie, Darryl Strawberry right off the top. Huge card. Love it. Let's go. I'm going to put this in a penny sleeve right now and finish up the rest of these guys too. Darryl Strawberry. We're building our dugout, and what we'll do is at the end of all of this, we're going to put all of the numbers up for the cards. We'll showcase all of the cards that came out of this deck. And Cal looking beautiful. Jim Rice, let's sleeve him up. And then we'll kind of give a full-on numbers and how much, are they worth raw? How much did I pay for it? And, could I get my money back? Again, I'm looking for cards of the big ones for my personal collection. And then I found a card in here from a gentleman that I went to high school with the last time we went live. So pitching coach for the Detroit Tigers, Scott Bosio. So I picked up his card. Barry Larkin, Brad Havens, Tony Pena, great catcher, Darrell Evans. And again, a lot of guys from 87 came and went. Maybe had 2 years or maybe even less than 6 months with their team, and they moved on. A lot of guys. And so, you know your big names, and then there's going to be those gems in the rough that we'll come across. Like, I don't know anything about Lance Parrish, but you might. Hello, Infinity Games. What's happening? You've got like 3,000 80s and 90s cards, but I know nothing about them, right? So you got to talk to somebody, right, who knows about cards. And we talk about it. Let me see what you got. Send me a DM. What do you think you got? And I would say that a good starting point is you would pick an era such as this. It's 87. And with the advent of the internet for the last 25 years, it's so good now. Here we go. Jim Rice, beautiful. That you can go back and say, who are the big players from 1982? for baseball, and you're going to get a whole list of names you will recognize, names you won't recognize. And if you really want to tackle your collection that way, you go through every card and you say, wow, Howard Johnson, is he the guy that created the hotel chain? Right? You'll know. It'll give you the list of who's big and who wasn't. And a lot of baseball players throughout all the years, think about all the people that come and go. And then you have that one guy that stands out, and you got 100 guys that don't. I mean, I've known people in real life, that used to be AAA or maybe minor league, players. One guy that went to the MLB, but he was only there for a month. Okay, so nobody knows him, but he has that stat under his belt. Again, like I said, I found a card of a friend of mine I went to high school with. And that's kind of neat, Jeff Russell. Yeah, I don't need a Beckett anymore, right? That's for sure. Joe Carter, Dave LaPointe. And these leaders cards, I'm really looking for maybe some pitching, right? And again, all of these cards anywhere from 50 cents to $1.50 if you were to sell them raw, but that's not my game right now. And to have them, to give them away, to maybe slab a few and hold on to them and pass them on. But the fun part is opening up the packs, going through it, and maybe coming across that, here we go, Teddy Higuera, All-Star. I do keep the All-Star cards. Jim Sutcliffe. Beautiful. Mike Schmidt. Put some sleeves on these guys. Absolutely cool. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and we're going to catalog, and I'll do this offline, obviously. We're going to catalog all of the cards that our dugout that we made. What's the value? How much did you spend, comic? And could you get your money back? And what are the ones that you would actually send in to be graded if they're worth it? Not everything needs to be graded, really. You go to card collection shows and you're going to be seeing PSA 9s and 10s all across the board. Thousands of dollars and a lot of vintage cards. And I like vintage stuff. But I'm not in the position of, dropping $5,000 on a 1960s Topps, box. I'm not there. I'm not in that category. But, $60 to $100, sure, I'll pick up something that's guaranteed not sealed and hope for the best. Maybe I can make my money back. And what a fun hobby on a rainy day for sure. Been raining here in the state capital. So you know what? We're going to finish this box today. Thank you very much for being here. We've got maybe 3, 6, 9 packs to go out of this brown box that's been factory sealed. Sleepy, welcome in. Thank you for being here. We got fantastic viewers already. Appreciate your offer. That's right. My dad and I went to lots of Mets games, and we sat right behind the dugout. Kirby Puckett All-Star, absolutely killer. Look at the border, left to right. Which one looks bigger? If they look even, very well could be a high-value card. This one, not so much. And every card is printed just a little bit different. And so that's something you also have to consider. Sat behind the dugout one time, nobody there. My dad yelled, "Hey, baby." "Hey, Baldy," to a Hojo de Hojo, and turned around and gave my dad a look to kill. That's great, man. At least you got his attention, right? Mark Salas. I mean, that's the fun of it, Catching the game ball or the home run ball. Steve Lake. We had Kirby Puckett. Love it. And we're looking at, we've got, love it, man. Let's go. Kevin Gross, Rob Murphy. Don't know who these guys are. We're going to keep it moving. What's going on? Savage Detours, welcome in. We're just finishing up this box break from 1987. I picked it up over at Baseball Card Exchange, which is really your best place to, if you want to buy vintage cards and have them guaranteed, sorry about that, have them guaranteed to be truly unopened, and the real deal. And so really the box that we're looking at today is a factory sealed box. The serial numbers on the inside of the box. When I open up the box, you can see the cards are already set. So these are considered uncirculated because they haven't been sent to the machine to be wrapped with wax or gum. So these are boxes for collectors. These are the ones you want to pick up, and then you'll see that serial number right down here that's imprinted into the box or embossed, and then they will have a seal on the front end of the box here with that matching serial number. You go to eBay, you very well will find, and I did this is how I figured it out, and it only happened once, but your box should look uniform when you open it, okay? You can see that it doesn't appear to be uniform right here. That's only because the cards have fallen and I moved something or whatever, but it's a good indication that if you open up a allegedly sealed box and it doesn't look like this, and you can tell where the breaks are, that more than likely somebody's gone into that box, pulled out the big cards, resealed it, and calling it, the deal, when in fact that's not the case. So again, I'm just cracking off, 17. I think I got maybe more than that this round, right? So we're just seeing what we got. We're looking for big names. Bo Jackson, I'm still chasing him. John Franco, great pitcher. Saberhagen, great. I believe he might be a Hall of Famer. And again, Hall of Famer cards, people love the Hall of Famer cards. Frank. Whatever happened to this guy? Indians, they had a lot of people come and go in the late 80s from what I remember. Dwight Gooden, we're chasing this one. This is the Dwight Gooden All-Star card. I would love to have the player's card. And then if you can have both of them, that's a great set that you can move or give away, to somebody who is a fan, of New York or the Mets, yeah. Let me just go ahead and slab those guys up. And, put them in a penny sleeve. And it'll keep those scratches off of them. And if you do decide to send these into PSA, Professional Sports Authority, they require a special holder that you put it in. So you buy a bulk amount of them, and then generally you have to determine really what you're going to send in. And then like for me in comics, I got very, very expensive comics. And so are you willing to just send all 10 of your super expensive comics at once? What happens if that box gets lost? So in the case of, baseball cards, the same thing would be said. You got to consider what you're sending, the insurance purposes, and then hopefully when those cards or comics come back, they have high grades. And you can at least maybe have something preserved for all time at a particular condition. So there's a lot of negative and there's a lot of positive to grading. And unfortunately, Steve Garvey right out the gate. Nice. Spring training or possible workout before the game. You're going to have a lot of people that there's a lot of forgeries going on out there. A lot of, they're even, forging PSA stuff. And it looks just like a graded card when in fact it's not. It's definitely not. It's fake. And there's ways to tell. Black lights, and as the technology gets better, it's getting difficult to tell. And so when you go to these trade shows or these card shows, you definitely need to talk to people, right? What's going on, Wheelchair? How much do cards go for sell value over time? Well, I can tell you this particular year of baseball cards, Wheelchair, they made 1 billion of them. Literally, almost, maybe. 10 million boxes, I believe they made of these factory sealed boxes. 10 million of the green and yellows. And just a lot of baseball cards. Collectors would say that 87 pretty much tanked the market. But people still collect it. And like this card, the Steve Garvey, who knows? Maybe a $2 if it was graded at a PSA 10. Very well could be, double digits or triple digits. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and we're going to give the spot raw grade for all of these and what they would be worth. And your best bet, I don't collect, Steve Garvey, but this is, you look at his card, and he was with the Dodgers, and this is late in the game. So I mean, this is like near the end of his season when he was with the Padres, 1987, right? So you might want an older Steve Garvey. It may not be worth as much. There's just a few cards out there that very well could be worth a lot of money. Like there's a particular card in this set. It's the, I gotta think about it. It's the, God, what's that guy's name? Don Mattingly. It's his All-Star card is an error card. All right. And so that card can go for $100 to $400 raw if you come across the Don Mattingly All-Star error card. And we came across his player card, but not the All-Star yet. And again, a lot of these, you're probably going to have a 20% chance of hitting a card that's going to be worth anything. And I know that people collect All-Stars, no matter if they were beyond the All-Star level or they just were an All-Star for 1 year. They do collect them, and to keep them is great because you can sell them as sets, and if you're not going to send your kids to college on it, right? But at least you can have fun keeping the collecting hobby alive, as the baseball collecting hobby is huge right now, absolutely huge. I had boxes and boxes of 87 tops, right? I mean, if you go online right now, Moloch, and you look at, just type in 87 tops, and you look at the prices for a lot of these graded cards, they're in the hundreds of dollars, especially the ones that are the error cards. And I will tell you that maybe Urbano, Lego, and maybe Joe Necro are the two big ones for this era, with like a trademark error and even a mismatch. Like it'll have the Tigers logo when he's in an A's jersey. So those cards are huge. Gems in the rough. So if you go and buy Mike Diaz, if you go and buy a factory sealed box like we have, your chances are way higher of getting the cards you're looking for. And I can tell you, our dugout is about maybe 40 stars, maybe more, maybe 50. And if you were to sell each one for $2, well, then there you go. Make a little bit of money. But will it be enough to cover the cost of what you put out? And that really is here to be seen. Speak of the devil. Are you flipping kidding me? If you guys have the internet right now, look it up. Don Mattingly, 1987 All-Star. I believe this is an error card. Holy crap. Let's leave that right now. Matter of fact, we're going to put that in a top loader. Let's go. Let's go. Unbelievable. Now we're going to really look at it. We're going to look at this card. All right, we're going to look at the edges. I got to be real careful when I put this in this top loader so you don't crack the edge, right? Got to make sure I got this thing open. Okay, hold on. All right, let's go. Right, Moloch? Let's go. Wow. Okay, let me take a look at the bordering on this. That right side looks a little thick compared to that left side. The top looks a little thin compared to the bottom, maybe even. That could be an 8. That very well could be a 7 based off that thicker right side. But you look this up on eBay, I guarantee you this is a $100 card right here. Even raw, okay? Your best bet, if you're collecting big cards such as this Don Mattingly, wow, I'm blown away. If that's the case, then you would probably want to get a graded Don Mattingly to be assured that it is truly a 9 or a 10 grade. You'll see people selling these raw ones more than likely for $200-300. 55 to 5,000. Incredible. This is a card I would definitely send in to PSA, and that's why we put it in the top loader as well. We came across, for those who were on the first stream a couple days ago, this was the big hit from that stream. So I'm definitely going to be sending these two in, the Bonds and the Mattingly. Incredible. Wow, that's a flipping grand slam right there, everybody. All right, let's finish out this run here for this series. Steve Yeager, you ladies man, right? Keith Hernandez, Gary Redo, Bob Dernier, Steve Boros, manager. There are people that collect manager cards. I'm not one. Look at this. 2 huge hits. Oh my God. Literally, dude, in that stack alone, 2 huge cards. Mattingly and Bo Jackson. Let's go. Wow. Let's take a look at this guy. Hold up. Sweet, for sure. Welcome in, Lieutenant Bob. How you doing, man? Holy cow. All right, let me take a look at this. Border looks a little thick on the right compared to the left. Hell yes. Unbelievable. This looks way thick. But see, fear not, because stick around, because we're almost done with this box. And we're going to break in to that second box, which is really this right here. So we might have another Bo Jackson. We might have another, which could be a better quality card, a more better cut, right? Because these get printed on a huge sheet, the whole series, maybe 3 or 4 sheets with 200 plus cards per sheet. And then they cut it. And so depending on how that sheet's cut is really how this card's going to come out. Stand by. All right, I just got to add a couple things that fell over here. I need a bigger table. Okay. Beautiful, man. Bo Jackson, Don Mattingly, right out the gate on that run. Beautiful. Wow. Incredible. You had that Bo card? Yeah, man, that is awesome. Like I said, that does not look like a 10 to me. And I've graded cards before. And some, it's really a difficult science. Unless you have, a good grader and it's a good day of the week and they know, you really, it's kind of subjective to the grader. One grader, and there are people that do this. They'll send this Bo Jackson in, it'll come back, let's say a 6, and they'll crack that slab, and then they'll send it to another company, and it will probably come back at 8. Or they crack the slab and they wait a month or 2 and they resubmit it to the same company, and it comes back a different grade. So a lot of people who frown upon grading, that's one of the reasons why. The consistency very well may not be there, and at the same time the conspiracy of keeping the market itching. We don't want too many 9s and too many 10s out there. I don't subscribe to that conspiracy, but there are people that do, especially when they're dropping thousands upon thousands of dollars on cards. I'm not that guy. I'm not going to spend, $6,500 on a 1957 top set. Roger Clemens 86 record breaker, like a $1.50 card, if that. I don't keep the record breakers, and these series would also show up along with the All-Stars, all those mound visit cards that we've seen, right? So they have these little series within the series, right? Jack Howell, a lot of no-names too. And good, I would expect that pack to be a bust. I expect that one to be a bust. You got 2 huge Bo Jackson, Don Mattingly, are you kidding? What else do you want? Mike Trujillo, Hall of Famer, Atlee Hammaker. Look at this guy. What a name, Atlee. All right, Randy. Mickey Brantley. Again, we're looking for Cal Ripken, Kirby Puckett, Willie McGee, that's a possible. I want to maybe check that out outside of the stream for sure. So I'm going to just put him in the maybe pile. Mike Trujillo, there's a lot. He was a excellent ball player back in the day. As a matter of fact, looking at his stats here, overall 131 RBIs, and let me see here, 172 home runs for a season. I mean, that's a big number. Very well could be an all-star. Let me try to get all blind, trying to get it in the sleeve. Okay, yeah, Mike Trujillo, very possible might be an all-star, right? Beautiful card. We'll put him in the dugout as well. We got just a little bit of this left to go, guys. Thanks for being here on this factory sealed brown box, and then we're going to take a quick break. Teddy Higuera. We're going to come back, Mike Fitzgerald. We're going to come back with that brand new green and yellow box. Manny Trillo, Rick. Here's another one of those series cards. So they have these back the clock. We've already seen a couple of these just this morning in this break. And then these leader cards as well. I don't collect them, but I do. I'm looking for the one with Yogi Berra on the front, and that's the big card out of this 1987 Topps. So we haven't seen it yet, so that's why I kind of stop at these leader cards. Chris Brown, good hitter. Steve Trout, let's go, big hitter. All right, beautiful. That's 2 hits out of that pack. There's a Keith Hernandez 87 Topps error card worth thousands. We might have come across it. I think I got a Keith Hernandez on the last stream, Moloch. And as a matter of fact, I will go through the dugout of all the cards we're putting in the dugout here. So, for example, Manny, Steve. Here's our current, let me see. We got Mike, for those coming in. This is the current dugout since we started. Bo Jackson, Don Mattingly, Dave, Steve Garvey, Rafael Palmeiro, Brett Saberhagen, Dwight Gooden, Kirby Puckett, All-Star, still looking for the baseball, his player card coming up. 2 of them, and that's that one right there. And Teddy, Mike Schmidt, Jim Rice. I'm looking, Moloch. I'm looking. Jim Rice, Cal Ripken, player card, huge card, except probably wouldn't get a very high grade in PSA based off of that. Mookie Wilson, Darryl Strawberry, player card, Mike Maddox, Tom Seaver, huge fastball, man. That guy, 101 minimum. Ken Griffey, Steve Sachs, All-Star Roger Clemens, and an Ozzie Smith. That's just from today's cut. And we've got about 4 packs to go on this final part of the brown box. And this Willie McGee I've got set to the side. I got to look at that one. So Keith Hernandez. Maybe I haven't gotten it. It's probably in that other. And at the end, we're going to go through the other one as well for those who weren't here for the first break. Mike Belecki. Here's another one of those turn back the clock series. Don Slott. I mean, that sounds like a baseball name or race car driver, right? Whatever happened to these guys? They just kind of disappeared. The Mattingly All-Star error card has a period after Mattingly on the front. Does it? Hold on a second. Really? Let me see here. And I appreciate you being my man there on the net, right? That's working it. I mean, that's working it. Don Mattingly. Let's see. So you're saying the Mattingly All-Star error card has a period after Mattingly. Let me see. I got to really look at this. Hold on. I don't think this is the error card. I'm not sure. The camera's not going to pick. Yeah, there we go. I don't know. I don't see a period. I really don't. I know that I think there was something about a double mustache like the image was skewed or something and it gave him a double mustache. That's the error I was looking at. I didn't know anything about this dot or a period at the end of his name. So it looks way clean. I mean, that's a huge card. That's why we top loaded it. So, so it is a double. Okay, yeah, because that's the one I knew about from back in the day. And it's funny because there was no internet. And so you would hear this word of mouth at the shop, the card shop you go to. And I would buy baseball cards at my comic shop. And so they would talk it up. George Brett, huge. Get him on. That's a double right there. Aguilar, Naito. I thought it said Sal Bando. And Denny Walling. There you go. George Brett, beautiful player card in action. And I love these action cards, whether they just hit it or are just about to hit it, or they're catching it if it's an outfielder, let's say. So good. And this is really, really a nice looking card. Now you look at that border. That looks damn near perfect border. Top to bottom, left to right. What's a PSA 10 George Brett player card going for 1987? When I researched that would determine whether or not I would spend the money to grade it. That's a huge, huge hit. All right. We got 2 packs to go, and I'm cracking that box here after our break. All right, Dennis Leonard and Lynch. That was just awesome, Moloch, that we were talking about Mattingly and that thing showed up. Right? It's like we just went, whoop. Nobody, right? And that's kind of cool because you get the big one and then the next one, nothing, right? And that's how it would have been wrapped and packaged. You'd just be lucky enough to pull the right bubblegum pack or wax pack to get your favorite star. I don't know how many times I would buy a wax pack and Dwight Evans, there we go. And it would always be a nothing. Dwight Gooden, everybody, that was what I was looking for. And that's an awesome card. Hall of Famer, huge. If you're a Mets fan, that's the card to have, right? All right. I would say we did pretty damn good for this 791 count factory sealed box. Like I said at the start of the show, you're not guaranteed to get numbers 1 through 792. So we've had several doubles, a lot of no names, and probably a total. We're going to count it out. So here's the box. Box is empty. And I'm going to show you the big cards. We'll just do it right now. So Dwight, that's 2. And if you want to keep count with me, right? George Brett, Mattingly, Ozzie Smith, Roger Clemens, Steve Sachs, Ken Griffey, Tom Caesar, Mike Maddox, Darryl Strawberry, Mookie and Cal, Jim Rice, and player and all-star card, Mike Schmidt, Tony Herrera, Kirby Puckett, all-star and player card, Dwight Gooden, Brett Saberhagen, Paul Merrow, Steve Garvey, warm-up shot, right? You would keep all the Mets cards from 87 and toss the rest in a bucket. Yeah, well, honestly, yeah, that's what's going to happen. Everything outside of these penny-sleeved cards are definitely going to get, put in the spokes of co-pilot's bike, right? And here's the other ones too, from the first stream, okay? Because we're finished with this box. So we have Don Sutton that came out of that first half. Here's another Darryl Strawberry All-Star. Let me see. B.J. Surhoff. I think he's a Hall of Famer as well. Fernando Valenzuela. Huge card. Reggie Jackson with the Angels. Rest in peace to our Yankee friend Ricky Henderson. The steal. Nobody's going to ever beat his record. right? Jose Canseco, stolen bases, that is. Huge card, and this one very well. If you take a look at the bordering on this one, this could be a high card. I would say, looking at this thing, let's go camera. Can you zoom in right here? Somewhat it wants to zoom in. That could be a 9. It could be an 8, but I'm really concerned about this bottom border, right, compared to the top border. That it very well could be a 6 overall. I grade really high, or really, hard. Tony Gwynn was also part of that first one. Here's the big one. This card alone, I believe this is maybe a $150 card. Fernando Valenzuela All-Star card. Tony Gwynn, another huge card from our first stream about 3 days ago. Here's the Will Clark Classic pre-A's, right? Let me look at this guy. No, this is after the A's. Our good friend Vida Blue in his post-career, in a sense, right? The incomparable Mike Schmidt. Lou Pinella, yell at him, right, in Spanish. Those umps, we don't speak Spanish. I remember that one famous slow motion in the umps all, I don't speak Spanish. It's funny. Here's the Keith Hernandez. Here it is, Moloch. Bam! And that Keith Hernandez is looking way clean, my friend. Way clean. Let's go. The Doc Gooden All-Star card is an error card if it has no trademark on the new the National League logo. Thank you for that, dude. Let me capture that real quick. Hold on, where's my pen? Where's my pen? Here, let me get this camera. Stupid autofocus. I hate it. Pete Rose. Now this was a gem right here. Manager card and player card. So definitely would send as a set, man. Look at the back of the Keith Hernandez card. Okay, copy that. Stand by. All right. All right, what are we looking for, Moloch? What are we looking for? Are you looking for errors? Or you just want to see those stats, right? Just absolutely a killer card and really in killer condition. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I spent the extra money to buy this uncirculated set of a rando 792 count card for this year, because the box we're going to open up after our quick break, was sent to the retailers, and it was sent to a packaging area where they put the wax and the gum on them. So those cards very well could have chipped corners, bent corners. The wax packaging very well does a number on them, and especially if that gum is stuck to a high card. So continuing with this dugout from 2-3 days ago, Ed Wojna, didn't know nothing about him. One of you guys in chat called that out, so thank you for that. And I'm going to go ahead and on these cards we're showing, this stack and the stack we're making, I'm going to run numbers and provide that as well. Wade Boggs, we got a player card and all-star card overall, so I just double back those because I'll probably do that with Pete Rose as well. Save a penny bag, right? Pedro Guerrero, this is my own personal pick. This is the guy I went to high school with. So that's why I said Chris Bosio. There he is. Roger Clemens All-Star card. Ozzie Smith player card. Don Madeline was also broke out of here. Cal Ripken All-Star card. Nolan Ryan player card. Ryan Sandberg. Let's go. Keeping it for the beauty of Sparky Anderson, man. One of the better well-known coaches, more respected coaches in the league. Willie Hernandez, Dave Concepcion, Oral Hershiser. I mean, really? I mean, you can't talk, Dusty Baker. Okay, some huge cards came out of here. This Steve Sachs, I believe raw, might net $40, I believe. Graded, much, much higher. And Larry Parrish, which was another character that I was not familiar with that one of you guys in chat called out. So this stack here, I will provide a, what's the worth? How much would it be? And is it the value of what that box was? Because this is really all that is worth anything out of the box. The rest of these cards, bicycle spokes, and we'll just put these guys here on the top, right? And so those are the 2 stacks out of almost 800 cards. Not much, maybe 40 cards altogether. So sorry about that. So there we go, 40 cards, not bad, right? Not bad. Take a sip of my coffee. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Thanks, guys. We're going to come back. We're going to bust open this box here. This box contains 36 wax packages with 17 cards in it. Let me do my math. 610. So there's 610 baseball cards in here, wrapped up in 38-year-old gum, right? And hopefully the gum isn't stuck on the back. So be nice to get some doubles. That's why I bought 2 styles, the factory box and the retailer box. So again, thank you for being here. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back and open up that one and start unwrapping stuff. It's so funny. Co-Pilots said, "Are you going to open up those baseball cards, Dad?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Can you please save the gum for me?" I said, "You want the 38-year-old gum?" He goes, "Yeah, I just want to try it." I'm like, "All right, I'll save you a gum." Actually, he wanted to open up a pack himself, and so God bless him. He's 13. He's never opened up a pack of baseball cards ever, and I think I'll give him that opportunity. Why not, right? So, because even the cards today, when you buy them, like you go to Walmart and you buy cards, you get you don't even get 17. You get I think it's 12 now, and they're in that really cheap, Nabisco, Oreo packaging kind of, package, like Pokemon cards. It's ridiculous. Where's my wax packs? I miss it, right? So maybe he will. I would hope he does. And he was all excited. He doesn't know anything about anything, Moloch, and he's never seen a baseball game. I mean, he just doesn't follow it, right? But he was excited, to see these cards that we got, and he's like, "Oh, wow, who's Mark McGwire?" I mean, it was an awesome teaching opportunity. I'll tell you that. He was all excited. I said, "Which one's your favorite so far?" He goes, "I think that guy, Pete Rose." I said, "You know what? You picked the best one, right, Pete? Everybody loves Pete Rose." So, too good on Co-Pilot, man. Let's take a quick break. What does this thing say? I'll be back. No, that's too long. Hold on. Let me fix this. I'll be back in 20 minutes. No, we'll be back in less than 6 minutes. Thank you guys for being here. We're going to crack that box in about 6 minutes. Yeah, me too. I do too, Moloch. Thanks, you guys. We'll be right back. Okay, thanks everybody for sticking around. Hope you're enjoying what you're seeing. Thanks for being here. Quert, what is going up, man? Up for some ATS? Yeah, I would love to do some ATS, right? American Truck Sim. I do that on Thursday nights. Oh. Thank you, Moloch. I do that on Thursday nights, but I love playing it offline, or I'll roll with the streamer if I have time to do so. Yeah, Quert, if you're going to do some ATS, I would definitely join you for sure. We've got here this Topps 87. It was cellophane, it was wrapped, and then it had a seal that was placed on it on the outside because a lot of collectors, you'll get these people that buy lots of these, or they'll get a let's say a warehouse, and they'll auction, and they'll find baseball cards, and then they'll open up these packs and they'll go through them and they'll find the best cards and then reseal it and use irons and all the tricks, to make it look legit, and then repackage it, re-shrink wrap it, and then put it on eBay as a legitimate, from 1987 unopened. And so if you steer clear of that, like I told you before earlier in the first part of the show, that happened to me, not with a pack like this, but with a factory sealed pack, when in fact it was not factory sealed. So this here, the guarantee that you get is by buying it from a trusted site, and that would be Baseball Card Exchange. They're the number one place. If you want to buy these type of overstock that never got sold from retailers that were bought back by these companies in these warehouses, right? And so then they put it together and they just offer it for a little bit more than it normally would be retailing, let's say, on the secondary market. Now, not to shame eBay sellers, I would say that, with baseball cards, it very well could be a 20% margin where they're not legit, and 80% is legit, but I pay a little bit extra premium just so I know that it's legit. And so that premium would be sometimes 25 to 50% more than the actual cost of a box of, let's say, in this case, 36 wax packs with 17 cards per wax pack with a stick of gum. This comes all the way from 1987. Something like this on eBay could run for $50 to $100. And then Baseball Card Exchange, I will tell you, I paid $100 even for this, and that was the guarantee. So will I make my money back with this versus the cost of that factory sealed box? We'll see. And then it really comes down to the cards and the grading. And then again, if you can get away with a raw card for a high sale, that's even a better bet. So we're just going to just crack these as we go. I'm just going to pull out like just one of these four quadrants here, and we're going to roll with them. All right, so let's do it. And I'm crossing my fingers, right? Because we still have some cards on the list that I'd like to see. Urbano Lagu and Joe Necro, and maybe another Barry Bonds, and definitely any doubles that we've already gotten. I will take the better of the two. And when you eyeball it, you'll know. You'll put them side by side. You put both of those Mark McGwires side by side. A PSA 10 Mark McGwire may sell for $100 today. 10 years ago, it was going for, $1,000. So, and then especially when the home run race was on. So, yeah, there you go, Quert. Let's get some gum. And I hate scammers too, man, Too legit to quit. Yeah, thank you. Let's see what we got here on this run. And where's that bubble gum? Is it sitting on the front part of this? Yeah, it sure is on this wrap. So let's go. Right? This is the part that I hate, because if this is a good card, it's ruined. And so that's why I go with the factory seal. So, all right, so let's go here. Let me just see where the split is. All right. Yeah, I think it's right here. It's been a minute since we've looked at these. All right. Since I've opened wax packs, that is. Bobby Valentine, Cecil, Rick. Again, 1987. This set mimics Steve Balboni. I don't think he made the Hall of Fame. This mimics the 1966 Topps set with this fantastic, throwback wood paneling. It just reminds me of my bedroom when I was a kid growing up with the wood paneling. Ricky Henderson, that's a double. we'll definitely keep that. Mike Laga and Randy Newman. For sake of time, I'm going to sleeve these when we're done with these packs, all right? So let me go. Let me save the gum for Copilot, right? He wanted to, and we're going to leave one pack open for Copilot too, to open, right? So we'll see what we got here. Yeah, me neither, Moloch, and I'm thankful that I did, I picked up his 1980 rookie card in a break, and I was very happy for that. Look at this piece of gum. Gotta check for mold, man. I swear to God, that looks definitely like mold. This is the part that I hate, man. This card's ruined. I'm telling you, this gum's stuck on here. 38-year-old gum. Jesus. This is like the hardest piece of gum I've ever had to take off of a card. Look, I'm almost there. What really? Make sure this is worth peeling. Get this shit out of here, right? I swear to God. Sitting there peeling shit. All right, let's go. Let's go. Definitely not eating that piece of gum for sure. Looking at the cards, they're not bad condition. Again, this is definitely not a repackage for sure. I can tell you just the first two that I've ripped, and then again the assurance this has not been tampered with at all, with that seal that you get, and you pay that little extra premium. Whitey Herzog, fantastic. Bob Boone, Mike Diaz, looking for some big hits here, man. That's 0 for 2. Really 0 for 2, right? Let's go. Right. Yeah, I could probably sell the gum on eBay. That's true. I mean, people buy all kinds of weird shit, right? I mean, make it a 100,000 point channel redemption, and I'll eat it. But you don't want to get flagged for. I'm sure Twitch or YouTube would have a. Let me just make sure this is a card I want to keep. No, I don't. You're out of here. I'm going to spend my time picking gum off of a card that's worth nothing. So, all right, let's pull this here. Here we go. Right? Jose Canseco, fantastic. Cubs leader card, not Yogi. I was looking for him. Bob, Bill, Tom, Bob Melvin. A lot of no names, man. Huge. A lot of people came through the MLB. Like, who's this? Who's Zane Smith with that Astros or that Atlanta Braves jersey? Steve, Jim, Vance Law, Dennis. We're looking for big hits. Okay, a lot of no names. And, is it just the luck of the draw that all of the bad cards seem to be coming out of these wax packs? And, some, the hardline collector would say yes. Wax packs are not the way to go. It's kind of like playing the Monopoly game at McDonald's. You're never going to win. There's only just a few, packs that, let me just see if this card's worth. It's a manager card. You're out. Right? You're out of here. Right? I don't like how they've got these things. They're backwards. It's really weird. All right, let's take a look here. Bobby Meacham, Todd, Dave Schmidt. I believe this might be Mike's brother. He didn't do nothing. Yankees leader cards. Okay, I'm not collecting the leaders cards or checklists. And this is not a complete checklist. Again, 87 ran 700 and I believe 91 or 92 cards. Joe Necro, Willie Upshaw, Rick Aguilar. Again, we are seeing, doubles because we just went through 800 cards of this same year, and that's good because you're going to find a better value card that's set for, it's a better set on the picture itself. So far, 3 packs through, only 2 hits, and kind of just lends credence to the fact of these wax packs. Steve Sachs All-Star card ruined by bubblegum. That hurts. That hurts. Way bad. This card, I wouldn't even attempt to clean or grade. Now, let's say, you pick up a pack of 52 Yanks or 52 Tops and you get a huge, card in here, let's just say, and it does have that gum. those serious collectors who spent the thousands of dollars for those unopened packs, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10K, they will have the money to clean this, and they might even be able to clean it themselves. But for the most part, that does affect the grading of the card. That's unfortunate that Steve Sax, knowing that I have a card that's completely clear of any gum stains, it's definitely not a keeper. Unfortunately, it just does not work that way, right? So let's go with this. I don't like this. I gotta flip them twice, right? It's the way the pack is. Ozzie Smith, Jeff Hamilton, Checklist, Floyd, Larry, Daryl Miller. Use the edge of the trash card to scrape the gum off. Yeah, that's a great, and I would. And normally, as funny as this sounds, you guys, if you ever done Legos, right? And every Lego set has one of those things that you can remove Legos with. I've used that before. Really nothing going on. Wow, it's weird. You pull out the packs that we were pulling out of that factory sealed brown box, and we were getting a hit practically every one. Again, without spending the time to remove the gum. In this case, it comes right off, leaving the stain. What do we got here? Darryl Strawberry All-Star. That hurts, man. That way hurts. But we do have a second one of this that we picked up. Again, worth, nothing in a sense. It would cost you more to list it as a single item on eBay than anything. Again, this year of, Topps cards, you would sell them in bulk. All the All-Stars, all of the big names, or some of those big names can run individually, such as that who was it? What was his name? Not Ricky Henderson, but the other one. That was the All-Star card. Don Mattingly. That can run, raw by itself. You can run that one. But for the most part, a lot of these you're going to have to, group them up, put them together. Here's all your Phillies from '87. I've seen lots like that. And generally, collectors who are completionists will follow those trends to get those cards. And then you never know. Larry Anderson might be a relative, and you want that card. There's all types of purchasers out there. This is, you're not going to make your money buying a $100 box and ripping it. Mark McGwire, beautiful. A living. You're not going to make a living out of it unless you can afford those 4-figure boxes. When you're digging deep into, Major League's history, from say 1960 or even 52. If you have the kind of jack to buy something like that, then you're really taking a chance, because it's a mystery box. You don't know what you're going to get. And we just ripped 790 plus cards in that factory brown box, and only maybe less than 40 cards were in there that were worth anything. Imagine those numbers with let's say you spent $6,000 on a 1966 Topps box, and you're only going to get 4 or 5, maybe 20 cards, maybe, and you better be able to turn those to get your money back. And that's, it's really a hard line with collecting on baseball. So a lot of people do it just because it's their favorite team, or I'm collecting that one particular player. Like when stuff goes down, and if you're okay with that, then there you go. You don't spend your whole savings on it, and know that it's really a risk. It really is a risk. Each one of these packs would sell for 40 cents back in 1987, and I remember mowing lawns back then. But I was in the service in 1987, but roll it back 2 years, 1985, and I'm doing, getting paid $10, to mow somebody's front and backyard and pick up all their leaves. Here's $10, or most of the time it would be $5. And then so with that money, I would go to that comic book shop and, get a comic, a $1.25 comic, maybe get a couple of them, and maybe get some baseball cards for 40 cents a piece. But generally, anytime I would get one of these wax packs, just like what's happening here live, you're not getting really anything out of it. And it took a long time for me to realize that. If I would hate to think about all the money that I I spent, on wax packs hunting for that, that my favorite player, let's say. So just, it's what they say, collect responsibly. They have a lot of stuff, like for example, in comics, I will tell you in just a second, Quert. In comics, they'll make 17 covers of the same Urbano Lugo. They're going to make 17 covers of the same comic. Well, if you're the collector that's trying to collect everything, that sucks because, that's 17 times $4 or $5 every week or every month that comic comes out. So it's a racket for the comic business, and really only one or two of those 17 variants are going to do anything as far as the collecting is concerned. Dusty Baker, keeping that. Thank you guys for hanging out. And this box, Quert, was $100, okay, sealed. Normally they go for 50 to 80, maybe 50 to $75 on eBay. You might see like starting bid $40, 3 days left, and it's up to $50. But are you guaranteed that it's not been opened and touched? And so I pay a little extra, in this case, $20 over what like max would be, in order to be guaranteed, not this, but the set we did before, to be guaranteed. Todd Worrell All-Star card, damaged by gum. You're guaranteed that your cards are untouched. And the best would be those factory sealed boxes, because they have not gone to the secondary machine to wrap them and gum them. And as you can see, if I two big cards damaged because of gum, 38 years in this bag. So this is a fun hobby. If I can come across an extra $100 and maybe dig deep into any series, baseball, let's go 1982 Topps football, looking for Dan Marino, Pete Rose, beautiful. That's a beautiful looking card. Let me take a look at the corners, the edging. Again, this comes out of a wax pack. I'm just kind of looking at the fold on it, because what happens in those wax packs, these cards can get bent, and that looks extremely straight on those corners. Like this truly has not been open for 38 years. That's a good looking Pete Rose. That top border to the bottom border looks legit, and both left to right borders, left looks a little thin. That very well could be a 9, maybe an 8, and a tough grader would probably come back and be a 7. Right? I've seen cards that look absolutely pristine, and they looked, by the naked eye, they looked straight, but they would come back from the grader a 3. Like, really? How is that possible? And if you were to throw that on your Instagram or your TikToks or whatever, the response you'd get would be, there's no way that's a 3. That's at least a minimum of an 8. That type of thing. Hockey cards too. I have never got into hockey cards, Quert, but yeah, there's a huge, who was it? 2 or 3 days ago, we had a viewer come in and say, people still collect baseball cards? ? And yeah, they do. And it's a huge market. So much so that Topps is kind of ruining the market, because they're making let's get this camera to zoom in. We're getting, they're making these card sets so expensive and with so many perks. Like, this is the card you have to have, the Heritage Collection, or you got to have this collection, and the starting price of that collection is $5,000 for that box of 10 cards. And so it drives the market. Dave Stapleton, great card. Sid and Lonnie Smith, no hits. And so what it does is it devalues the smaller sets. Why would you, if these cards are trading for so high and people are spending all of this, 5 figures on these box sets, it sucks. It sucks for the little guy, I mean, it really does. Like, none of us would be able to, afford, who would drop $10,000 on 15 baseball cards that you don't even know what you're going to get? And I've always said that, grab bags at comic shops or grab bags at a baseball store, here's 10 cards for, $10. You don't even know what you're going to get. I mean, you really don't. Broke that, man. Look how bad that is. This is the perfect example why we go the other route. And man, that hurts. Wade Boggs All-Star card. Are you get an 82 Montana? That'd be awesome, man. Bill Russell, Frank Molitor. I mean, literally, of the 792 cards, maybe 25 of them are worth something. So you're going to see a lot of no-namers. Gary Carter, All-Star. We keep the All-Star cards. John Bonilla, John McNamara, manager. Salty dog, man. There was a game where his teeth came out. I remember that one. They zoomed in on him and he's all covering his mouth. That was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. Looking at this Wade Boggs going, oh, it's sad. It's so sad. Let me move all this trash out of the way. Make some room here. Thank you guys for sticking in. We're on that second quadrant of cards. Right? Here you go. Second quadrant. Let's roll it. Too good. Too funny. All right, what do we got here? Ruined. Ruined. You better not be. Look at Cliff Speck. Peace out. Take care of yourself. All right, let's go. Bill Kruger. Freddie's brother, right? R.J. Reynolds, Jeff Lottie, George Bamberger, manager card, Tom Lawless, Juan Acosta, young Juan Acosta. Look at that. It looks like he's like 16. Youngest ball player on the Twins. Really? Dwight Gooden. Fantastic. All-star. Wayne Krench. What the hell's his name? Krenchicki? Dan Petrie. Glenn. We got a Tony Higuera All-Star card. That's great. Greg Nettles and Dave Lopez 86 Record Breaker. So this series here, there are people that collect the Record Breaker series out of every series that Topps does for every year. I do not. All right. Let's go. Keep it rolling. Telling you. Gary Carter was your guy, Moloch? There you go. Gum. Destroyed. Who'd we get? Carl Willis. You're out. Carl Willis got knocked out by the gum. All right, let's go. Head career. Jerry Reed. Again, not the musician. Right? Rick Rhoden. Bill Maddock. Parrish. Great card. Tiller. Terry Forrester. Dwight Evans. Denny Martinez. Again, look, a whole bunch of nothing. I mean, really, a whole bunch of nothing after, 10 packs of cards.
Don't wait for the translation!
It's crazy.
Bruh.
It's hella scary, man. You totally jumped, man. I totally jumped. Well, this damn the old package is just falling apart. 38-year-old packaging. Telling you. All right. Whoa, Will Clark destroyed by a unbelievable. Oh, that hurts, man. That hurts. But again, we have a perfect Will Clark, but the bordering on this one looks pretty thin on the bottom. Compared to the top border, left to right looks pretty good. Right infinity sucks, man. That just makes me murd. It's very mad. Murd. Right? That's the gum for you. Gary, let's go. Kevin Mitchell, Rolly Jackson, Steve Ontiveros, Scott Gerlitz. Wow, a lot of no names. Nothing, like a complete dud. Keith Hernandez, Oral Hershiser, and Gene Nelson. Womp, womp, womp. We're breaking them open, everybody. 38 years old with gum. Some of this gum looks still legit. Just want to try maybe a piece of this 38-year-old gum, right? That looks pretty darn good. Who got it, man? Who got the shot? John Stefero. Don't know him. Matter of fact, I do know him. He was in The Lord of the Rings, right? Samwise Gamgee, right? Noah Shudo, right? Okay, I'm just going to square these up. Scott McGregor, Honeycutt, Terry Francona, Hall of Famer. Let's go. Steve Lyons, Cal Ripken, Hall of Famer. Urbano Lugo, my man. There it is. Now, this should be an error card. And the error for this one is there's no trademark. But I'm seeing the trademark in the corner. So this is not the error card. But I'm holding on to it, right? Just because. It could be something. I'll look at it. Again, we're going to price all of this, and then we'll have a follow-up on a live stream, right, for the card breaks. And we'll just be talking about prices and cost. So I hope you can join us for that. As far as it comes, Danny Pasqua, Bob Shirley, Jim Rice. All right. Boston Red Sox action. I'm telling you. Noah Shuto. Right? Moldy gum. Let's go. Who is it? Mark Portugal. You're out. Don't even have to worry about the gum. Okay? Let's go. What do we got here? George Bell. Big hitter. Don't know if he went to the Hall of Fame or not. And, is it worth my time to put it aside to look? Maybe, maybe not. But there's always that one gem in the rough, that you just didn't know about. Oh, if you have the George Bell card from 1987, it's worth $20,000, So you really, you got to look at it all. Another George Brett. We'll take it. Hello? Oh, this camera. I'm telling you, right, Infinity Gains? That's what I say when I see that gum, right? When I see that gum on top of it. It's horrible. There you go, gum on the bottom. But it's still going to be on that card, right? Damn it. At least it's Tom. It's nobody I know. Tom Brunonsky? Not sure about that one. Not sure at all. Let me flip these cards since they're all jacked up. All right. Tony Pena, Bob Forsch, Ed Hearn, Bradley, Darryl Strawberry. Let's go. Jim Clancy, let's go. That guy had a mean slider, man. Really mean slider. Like, it looked like it'd be coming right at you, and by the time you realized it wasn't, it's a strike. Like, you would watch batters literally like shift their hips thinking they're going to get hit. Tommy John, who was it? I think it was Gumbo that came in here. Gumbo, if you're still here, he said this guy was something about the surgical procedure. Tommy John? I think that's what it was. It's an error. It says Ledyke drug when they called him Lenny. Really? I don't know. Ledyke. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that error, my friend. I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all. I'll have to take a look. Nothing. Let me double check here. Len Dykstra. I'm not sure. Maybe that's the name he went with, and then it's just, Lenny overall. But I will keep that aside with that Willie McGee to double check, all right? So thank you for that, Moloch. Appreciate that. All right, we got 3 packs out of this final quadrant, and we got 2 quadrants left. Destroyed. Who is it? Jim Traber for the Orioles. Unknown to me. If you know, let me know. Hey, that's the dude. That's the card comic. Right? You're missing out. Ed Romero. George Hendrick. Steve Buscemi. There we go. Another Ed Wojna card. Let's see, this upside down. Look, it's all... I swear. Kurt Young, Bill, Hal McRae, Astro Leader card. Is that Yogi Berra? Please tell me that's the Yogi Berra I've been searching for. Hold on a second. Sometimes they put the names of who's in the photo, and in this case, no, they are not. Holy cow. I think this is the one. I'm going to put this aside. I got to research this Astros leader card. All right. Teddy Higuera, Mariano Duncan, Felder, Jack Clark, and John Cagliosi. All right. Nothing. Loving it. And, really this stack right here of 10, there's probably less than 20 cards here. Less than 20 cards. And you're getting 17 to a pack. So again, collectors would go out and buy these, retailer boxes because the odds of getting the card you're looking for was really, really slim. That's a nasty piece of gum right there. That's a nasty piece on top of this guy who I do not know, right? So Jose De Leon. Yogi was estranged from the Yanks for a long time. Yeah, he was, man. He absolutely was. But I do know that that's one of the higher collectible cards of 87. He's in these leader cards. So, and that very well is, I think that is him. If I'm not mistaken. I mean, you look up, Yogi Berra image. I think that's the dude. I really do. This guy right here. That looks like Yogi Berra to me. I just can't confirm what team he was doing for 86, 87 season. Where he was. Jody Davis, Gruber, Tewksbury, John Shelby, Saberhagen, let's go. He had a fastball, always 99 to 100. And back in the day, that was incredibly quick. I mean, today it's almost kind of like NFL kickers are today versus the NFL kicker 20, 30 years ago. You know, it's just the stats are off the board. I mean, they really are for a lot of these guys. All right, last one here. You know, there's a whole bunch of nostalgia doing this, man. This takes me right back to my childhood, man. You know, Mike, let's see, Jerry Harrison. Is this a 2 cards? Yes, 2 cards stuck together. You guys can see what the gum has done. Listen to this. Look what the gum did to this card. You see that? Another reason, if you are a collector, to go with the factory sealed packs. And if you go back to those years, let's say you're looking for a Jordan rookie or Kobe and you're a basketball guy, you know, go back and you look at the prices on sealed packs from those eras. They're extremely high, but the return, because you have, you know, 600, 700, 800 basketball cards in a sealed factory set, the odds of getting those big name superstars are there. And yeah, you get a Jordan Kobe card, it'll pay for the set 2 times over. Especially now with Kobe being gone, right? He's still a popular player to be traded. To have a Kobe card, you know, means something. And then, you know, if you do have one and you've held on to it, you know, for whatever reason, you know, because of his passing, then they're even more rare because you're not going to find them just out there in the wild. People aren't going to be selling them. And the market can fluctuate so much. One year a card will be going for $800, and then the next year that card jumps to, you know, $1,700 or $17,000 just overnight. I've seen it happen on many cards. Especially when I go to these comic book shops every week on a Wednesday, and they do sell baseball cards at comics, and they will even have, there's one shop in town that even keeps, you know, like graded cards behind the counter that they will sell. And, you know, they're like ripping their own packs. And some comic shops will, you know, do weekly card breaks. So there you go, a little coffee. Thank you for that, man. I need some. This coffee's looking kind of cold. Right. Hold on. Well, I can say the gum has really hurt 2 cards, really. And, again, this is a card that does not matter to me. I don't even know who Andre Thornton is. So that's okay. You know, but how sad would that be to have that gum stuck to a Barry Bonds or a Mark McGwire or a Cal Ripken, you know, or a Bo Jackson? That hurts. All right, Ken LaCroix. Speak of the devil, everybody. Our second Bo Jackson, huge card. And you can look at that border. I'm pausing because I'm really looking at this card. Like if I was to put this back to back with the other Bo Jackson we just ripped, you know, which one looks more bordered? This looks like a better card. Amazing. Again, we're going to be putting these all in sleeves here off the show just to save time right now so we can go through the cards. We just have this pack here, these green packs, and then one more stack. And then we're going to say thank you guys for coming out today. And then we're going to go live probably in the next couple days. We're going to do a revenue reveal stream for what we made. What if, you know, these were 10s? What if these were 9s? And we're going to talk about prices. So if you want to learn a little bit something about the hobby as far as the costs and what you can get and what we made out of this, let's just say, then please tune back in and love to have you. Really not much going on in that stack either, which is really holding true to the wax packs, that there was more junk in wax packs than anything. Okay, that one had a Bo Jackson. So you really, you know, do they discriminate at the level of, you know, when they make these things? Are there people behind the scenes going, okay, there's one superstar per wax? No. Okay, it's the randomization. You get that brown box that we had, and that brown box gets fed into a machine that wraps them in 17s, right? So it's really, you know, how it comes out of that printer into the box and then to the machine really determines where those packs are wrapped and who's got what. Like we opened up that 117 set and they had 3 superstars. We had a Mike Schmidt, a Bo Jackson, and I believe a Steve Sachs. I think that was the one we got. Out of 17 cards, those 3 were huge. Okay. Then again, you got Yankees fans. Here we go, another Don Mattingly. I mean, this card raw could sell for $100 if it's the error card, right? And there you go. Or if it's not, it's a $1.50, $2 for this card. So, no, I did not Moloch. I can only assume that it's compression issues with the PC because I had an additional thing in play last night, and that was Say Intentions. But I run with Say Intentions all the time. So I don't know what the hell was going on last night with the stream. I just hope that does not happen. Kirby Puckett, I hope that doesn't happen again tonight, because all it does is fuel the knuckleheads who constantly complain about Microsoft 24. And it's really just, it's an argument I'm done, addressing on my channel. And that's why I made that emote, 2020 is dead to me. I want to move on from the argument and just try to figure out what 24 can do for the community. And, it's unfortunate that you got so many that like to point out all of the negatives constantly when you're on their stream or if they're in your stream. And that hurts, it just hurts the psyche overall. Especially for people who love the game, who don't have issues. Because you're hearing about these issues from people who stream. Right? And so really it's, are you an ambassador or are you here just to bring down the community? So I've had to really reconsider a lot of the people I've been watching or even following lately. That's all I hear. Is negative, 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 and it's a fantastic game, right? And the money we put into it, sure, we can bitch about it. All this money I spent and this game doesn't work. Right, okay. Well, stop spending money, okay? And embrace it. Work around it. Get a different computer. Make yourself better. Feel good about yourself. Like Mike Jordan said, just stop, please. Too good. Again, look, this proves true. A lot of nothing in these wax packs. Who the hell is Sammy Khalifa? Is that Mia's brother? Give me a break. Right. Let's go. I fly VATSIM, so I see all Sims. Doesn't bother me any. That's right, Quert. Amen to that, man. VATSIM is an awesome thing. I want to do more on VATSIM. I really do. I enjoy Say Intentions, and it's come a long way. I'm sitting here talking. I go, where's that gum card? Here it is. Which one was it? Juan Beniquez. Okay, you're out. And I've watched, Say Intentions go a huge distance. I've been a Say Intentions subscriber since the first week it came out, and I've listened to the people complain about it, or it's fake or this or that. But all of the stuff that it brings to the table really does. Chris Brown, home run guy for the Giants, man. I don't think we ever came across a Chris Brown in that factory sealed box, the brown box, I mean. Willie Randolph, great card. Nolan Ryan, that's like our second Nolan Ryan. And a Dennis Rasmussen. I'm talking 4 hits out of 1 of these tops. That's awesome. Beautiful. Yeah, Sammy Khalifa, right? You never know what you're going to get. I know I'm going to get some 38-year-old gum stuck to some cool card probably, but in this case, they all been junk cards minus that Steve Sachs. Chet Lemon got the gum this time. You're out. Just hit the camera. All right, let's go. Let's go. Jack Morris. Lance Parrish All-Star card. Beautiful. Roanoke. Turn Back the Clock series. Mark Bailey. Morrison. Not of the Doors. Okay. Mookie. Always a winner. Orkenbell. Fitzgerald. No help. None. Yeah, and that's what I heard, Quert, but anybody who's already paying, they're grandfathered in. So if you're paying for it, if you've already been paying for it, you won't be paying any higher price. And that's a good thing. But I look at Say Intentions, as it's really kind of a training tool. And, I felt a lot better going on VATSIM after being on, Say Intentions for a year. When I did that VATSIM stream with you guys live during that, I think it was called the Friendly Flyers event, because all of the tower people were well aware that, new pilots only, and that's one of the reasons why we did it, which encouraged some of you to do VATSIM that night for the very first time. And that's what keeps people from doing it, is because they're afraid to talk. Oh, I'm going to mess it up. Everybody's going to hear me. You get mic fright. I get that. And so Say Intentions, believe it or not, that anxiety still kind of is there, because all of the traffic that's going on Say Intentions outside of the AI is real people. So you're hearing real people. They're hearing you. Now, again, the nice thing about it is that Roger Clemens. The nice thing about it is that you can, make it a single player adventure if you choose, meaning you don't have to have a live multiplayer being piped, and you can stay with like canned multiplayer chat. They just use, because they're recording everybody's chatter, and you can have global chatter or just regional chatter. I just want to hear the pilots that would be in the area, that have been in the area, but they're not live. So, you can still dumb it down and not put yourself out there. And some people use it for that. But to give an example, Daryl Porter, big Texan guy, man, huge hit for that blasted gum. That sucks. Not cool. We Fly Daily for the Texas Rangers. Right. Excuse me, I had to cough. I'm cracking myself up. Tom, turning back the clock. Royals, Eric Show, Jeff Robinson, Swift, Daryl Motley. Yeah, man. I'll tell you, I am very happy that I picked up that factory sealed box. I mean, much better odds, way better cards, and if I do buy another year break, like like 1989 NFL, let's go, right? It's going to be through, the baseball card exchange, and it's definitely going to be a factory sealed box at this point. So, Dave Madigan. Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. Jose Cruz, let's go. Astros. Beautiful. Let me put this right here so you can see that. Solace. It feels like there's two cards here. Hold on. There is. So there's two cards stuck together because of that gum, right? So, and two nobodies, right? Ted Power, father of Richard Simmons. Right? TV's Richard Simmons. Tony Fernandez, let's go. Right? We're just adding to the stack here. Really, this is all we've gotten out of, let's see, like almost 30 wax packs. Just maybe averaging one card per pack at this point. And I can tell you, I've held a lot of cards, and that feels like about 36 cards. It really does. What do we got here? Jamie Moyer, right? In and out. In and out. Never mind, it's Joe Necro. Correct. Yeah. Yeah, his name's Joe Necro. But there's various errors on that card, my friend. So I just don't know what they are. I just know that there are various errors on Joe's card, and some printers gave like a double stamp to his name. That was one of them. Another one would be like no team, logo was cast on that card, which, I don't know how that's possible, because these are printed in sheets. And so, you have an error reader, someone like a continuity person that checks all of that. And sure, they're going to miss it. But how does the machine just not stamp that, but stamp everything else on the page? So that's really an odd error. I think I saw that listed on the net. Like, it's just one of the very rare errors. And Joe, is it Joe Necro? Yeah, Joe Necro's the dude. Nothing. Bunch of junk. All right, so we are down to the final, let me see here, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to save these 3 for Co-Pilot so he can have the joy of opening up his very first baseball card. And I'm going to make sure he does not eat that gum. So I'm going to hold these 3 aside for him. Again, we've pretty much picked up every card that I've asked for we've looked at approximately 1,400 cards from the year 1987. And really, Dwight Gooden, and that's it. Dwight Gooden, and yeah, I think we've gotten everything. I picked up the Jose Canseco, Mattingly, Kirby Puckett, Bo Jackson, Cal Ripken, Pete Rose, Ricky Henderson, Ryan Sandberg, and that's about Barry Bonds. Really, I mean, I've pretty much got everything I've been asking for overall, but the Dwight Gooden would be a nice pickup to have. But so anyway, I'm going to hold these 3 for Co-Pilot, just for the sake that he's never ever opened up a wax pack, or the thrill that brings, especially, he's a kid, right? Again, this is for the kids. I like how we got Willie McGee right here on the outfield. That's a double card. So that's definitely a keeper, right? Definitely a keeper. And you can see, look how bad that was cut, guys. Okay, look at that right corner to that left, the right edge to the left edge. So, I would keep the better of the Willie McGees. As a matter of fact, we got it right here. So you can see they're not all the same. Look at the difference here. Okay, look at the much fatter right-hand side border than this one, right? This seems to be a little bit more right. This one is way more left. This is the card you would keep. This is the card you stick in your bicycle tires, So, Quert, I'm going to tell you, I guarantee you I made my money back. And what I'm going to do, matter of fact, just looking at this now, this one's getting tossed, right? This one's getting tossed. Keeping that the other one. I can tell you I've at least made my money back, but what I am going to do is today and tomorrow I'm going to compile the information on just the cards we're keeping, and I'm going to do a quick stream on like a revenue reveal is what I'm going to title it. We'll talk about how much I paid, how much the cards would be worth if they were graded, and how much are they worth raw. And did I really make my money back on a raw count? So we'll see. George Bell, All-Star card. Robinson. This is a double card because of Gum. Again, Gum kills it. Jeff Stone, Al Newman. You guys are out of here. Sal Butera. Really nothing going on. And I want to show you something too. This is something you might be able to see. Hold on, let me see if the light can catch that. Yeah. You see right here in this orange part, right here, you'll see that there's like scuffing or denting that occurred. That is from the machine that goes in, that wraps that card in wax, that whole pack. And that machine has dented just inside that orange part of his name. If I can get that damn light to shine, you guys can see it right there. And that's another reason why buying bulk wax is really, it's not a good idea. You need to get it directly from the factory, uncirculated, if you're looking for that 10 grade card, right? Really only one out of there, a George Bell All-Star. And that's unfortunately a 50-cent card. His career was cut short, I do know that. All right. What are we looking at? 5 packs? 5 packs, and we're calling it even. Thank you, everybody, for coming out to the bonus stream. We're going to try some Flight Simulator again tonight. I'm not going to spend any time working on a flight plan for the simple fact that, we put a lot of effort into this game, and I don't like to see it fall apart like it did last night. That hurt. And so I'm just going to put something quick together, and we're going to go fly some biplanes, I think. Double card marked and stuck by the gum. You hear that crack? And it's a checklist. So that's good that it was a checklist that got damaged. So we're going to have some fun with the biplanes tonight, and I'll have the information in the Discord here shortly, right? While I'm doing lunch, I guess. But very unfortunate to have the game lock up and have those errors that it did last night. Yeah, absolutely a boner stream, right? For sure. Because I like those. We do that Tony Gwynn. We do Chris Bando. Let's go. Matter of fact, no. I'm thinking Sal. Oakland A's. Yeah, so we're gonna do just a fun stream. We're gonna have some fun flying the biplanes tonight, and we're not gonna, it won't put any stress. Like I said, I think maybe I just overclocked my computer. I didn't really have much going on but say intentions, so I don't know. We'll see. I just would hate to, spend 3 hours on a stream prepping a flight plan, going through all the motions, the cold and dark that we went through last night, to have it crash. But, we did fly an hour and a half. Sparky Manager destroyed by gum. But, that was the pisser, is that everything was going fine with no indication of having an error. It wasn't like it was stuttering first and then it went into an error status. It just stopped working. And that was, troublesome. Dave Concepcion. Rod Frank. John Franco. Tim Leary. Okay, not to be confused with the chemist. Okay. LSD. Don Mattingly player card. That's an awesome card. Raw, those things can go for $15 to $20 raw. So, big Yank guy. I mean, even a raw card. I mean, that's pretty incredible. So imagine if it was slabbed. Several hundreds of dollars. All right. 3 more to go. Thank you, guys. When we get done here, we're going to raid out. So stick around for that and give that next streamer your attention and your time and say hello while you're at it, right? Max Venable really stuck to a BJ Surhoff. Oh man, this guy's Hall of Famer. But look how bad this card is. That gum goes all the way through the image. Look, that's the piece of gum. Okay, definitely not a keeper. Man, that hurts. But thankfully, we already have that card from the factory sealed box that we picked up and ran with 2 days ago and then finished out at the start of the stream today. Right, stick around. It's too funny. Foley. And yeah, this entire card break today has proven my disdain for the wax pack. Especially when every one of these is like junk, right? They're all junk. I don't know if I'm going to make back my money on this wax pack, really. I don't think so. I really don't. Because, even that Willie McGee, even though we got 2 of them, one of them's better. But that's a nothing card, really. It's like a nothing burger. Ed Nunez with a stick of 38-year-old gum. Let's go. All right. Here we are. Steve Trout, always a fan favorite, ladies man, right? Hall of Famer. Give it up. Steve Trout, anything Steve Trout, memorabilia, an auto Steve Trout autograph, anything like that. Big seller, still a big seller, right? All-Star Dwight Gooden. That's the second one we got. Card 130, if I'm not mistaken. No, card 603. The player card is what I'm looking for. Player card 130. That's the one that's a little bit more valuable in this season, the 86 season, 87, and the Topps 87 line. But yeah, it's 90% junk, 10% keepers. And if I was to look at the math, or if I went back and did the rewind, it's like every 3 packs, it's maybe 2 or 3 cards, maybe, if that. Gum. Who is it? Ken Griffey? Are you kidding me? Come on! That's a huge card. That's a huge card with a huge piece of gum on the back of it. Damn it. Ah, that hurts, man. That hurts. Welcome to the hurt. Welcome to the suck. Damn it. But here it's a double card, okay? So maybe Ken's not damaged. Let's just see. Oh, God. Oh, it's Cal. Oh, Cal. Cal got busted. He got gummified. Damn it. I'm glad we got another one of these, but there you go. Ken Griffey. Undamaged. Let's go. We're saved. We're absolutely saved, but that's a bad cut. Eyeball that. The left side, left border, fatter than the right side. That's a 4, maybe. 5. That's just unfortunate. But Ken Griffey, great card. And for Ken Griffey people, hey, we'll take it. Hey, it's Ken Griffey. It's the great Ken Griffey. All right. There we go. Beautiful. Now we've got 2 of these. This one may be better than the other one we had. Fernando Valenzuela running about 150 for this card. In a PSA 9 or a 10. I can't remember. Raw, somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 15 to 20. So, just 2 Fernando Valenzuela cards would pay for the whole lot. Okay, that's a big one. Big win. Manny Trillo, Swindell, strapped with Brown. Pedro Guerrero. Charles Hudson. Reggie Jackson. That makes 2 Jacksons. That's a hit. And Greg Matthews. Nah. Listen, man, you wore that for the picture? Really? Was it cold that day? Let's see the uniform, clown. Right. Now listen, I expect a lot from my baseball players. You better represent. You know? All right, that's it, guys. That's all. That's all of them, right? Yeah, I just want to double check here, make sure we didn't miss anything. I'm going to save those 3 packs for Co-Pilot. Incredible. Stick with me because probably in the next couple days we're going to do a bonus stream to reveal the revenue reveal, all right? So for all of these cards, raw and or graded, and we'll keep it short, right? But overall, I would say here's our lots, really. If you look at it, these are the cards that stayed out of those 610 cards we just ripped. Now, granted, there's 3 packs of 17 cards still to be ripped. I'm saving those for my son. And I don't expect them to get a big one. I really don't. What is Comic Crazy doing? We're done ripping a 1987 pack. I've had a blast with you guys. And I do hope Co-Pilot gets a big one. Maybe he'll get the Barry Bonds. Maybe he'll get the Mark McGwire. We got the Reggie. And really, to have a double of Bonds or McGwire is great. Ken Griffey was picked up in a wax pack. So that's fantastic because we didn't get a Ken Griffey out of that. And then another Fernando Valenzuela. So the huge card right here. And this one looks a lot better border-wise compared to the original, the other one we got a couple, 2 or 3 streams ago. So thank you guys. We just ripped through all those boxes, right? The brown box and the green box, right? So let's go right out. There it is. This is what I'm going to leave for my son to rip open. These 3 right here. All right, and it's funny. You go on eBay and you'll see these individual packs being sold, $5 for, $10. It's crazy. And people actually pay for it. So that's another thing. You have collectors that go out there and they buy these wax boxes, right? They'll buy them and then they'll part them out on eBay. $5-10 17 cards. And you guys saw how many no-hitters we got out of the wax pack minus that factory sealed box. So again, stand by for that reveal stream. We'll be doing that here in a couple days, right? So there's some Consencos, some Bonds. These are all of our pickups that we've done for both of these. So just lay these out, right, for our final say goodbye, right? Charles Bando or Chris Bando, Reggie, all of the big names. So thank you. I hope you guys had fun checking that out, and that was pretty exciting. I'm down with that. Then these are the loose ones that came out of the 610 that we've ripped, all right, minus the 3 packs. All right, let's go find somebody to rate out. I hope you can join me, right, tonight, 6 o'clock. We're going to go back to Flight Simulator 2024 and do something simple. Fly some biplanes. Maybe I just got to go find a place to go do it. Nice little area. We'll have fun doing that. Let me find somebody to rate out. And thank you guys for sticking around the stream. Let's say hello to the next one coming up. Give them your attention, your time. Give them an emote, right? Who we got here? Let's go back and say, for those of you, some of you might have come over here. Maybe you've watched Nige this morning. He's doing some Red Dead Redemption. Let's go over and say hello to him. He's got 7 viewers, and he's having fun. Looks like he's doing Red Dead Redemption 2. All right, great variety streamer, musician, DJ guy, all around fun dude from across the pond. All right, thank you so much. Quert, it's been a pleasure. Moloch, it's been a pleasure hanging out with all of you guys on Twitch and our dual stream over to YouTube as well. My monitor died on my YouTube side for the last 45 minutes, so my apologies if I've missed any chat. Thank you again, guys. We hope to see you tonight, 6 p.m. Pacific, and we'll talk to you then. Take care.